senti baluna tashina kukojigo. Iwame baluna tashina mano mondi bani fala Africans United States United States oh yes United States of Africa.
Dancing to this music and trying to figure out these lyrics. Meanwhile you're drinking and having fun. Watch out, the revolution a come. Better be a part of the solution. This might be the final confrontation. Better awake to this reality. This is no time to lose your sanity. Cause by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. Killing the children in Soweto, turning El Salvador in a one big ghetto, dumping waste on sea and land, building up arsenal of nuclear weapons, oppressing the Asians, bombing in Iran, troops in Afghanistan. There must be a solution, a revolution, by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. Now you kill I today, you can't kill I tomorrow. Today for you, tomorrow your sorrow. Revolution for the poor, a change must come. Either by the Bible or by the gun, a change must come, a change must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. And capitalists, food, clothes and shelter have no politics. The Almighty Creator belongs to no religion. Ideologies won't bring about the solution. Now turn to the Psalms in the Bible and show me your AK-47. Come make we fight oppression. Come make we find a solution. Come make we fight oppression. Come make we start a revolution. There must be a solution, a revolution, by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. In El Salvador, by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. In Nicaragua, by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come. By the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way, freedom must come.
We will not have any problem on our part. And all the things you've said is precisely why you meet Gambia, a peaceful country, where you hardly recognize that there is conflict. Prior to the declaration of results, we had election campaign. And prior to the election campaign, we had many parties with diverse political programs. But because we do not have a second round of voting, we felt that if the opposition splits, then it is easy for the incumbent to have a right. we decided to come together in the spirit of national unity, in the supreme interest of the country, to have one person to stand. Because this is a country which has never changed through the ballot box. And we felt that we should make history together and facilitate that change. So throughout the campaign, what we told our electorate is that we are trying to unify a nation, unify the ethno-linguistic groups, unify the religions, unify the gender, unify everybody so that this country can have a new start. That is the ethos of the coalition. In the campaign, we told our supporters that selecting a leader who will be entrusted with the responsibility of managing our resources, our military apparatus, security apparatus, to ensure that we have progress and freedom does not require insults, does not require conflict. What it requires is sober minds capable of making informed choices. So all the predictions that the campaign will lead to violence, of course, as you know, there was no violence during our campaign. You will see the current president-elect and the incumbent having their convoys going side by side. That's what happens during the elections. So we went up to the declaration of results. And the incumbent called the person who was declared the winner and said in no uncertain terms that what happened is the verdict of the people and the verdict of God. And then said his doors are open, let him create the agenda, and there will be cooperation to facilitate a smooth transfer of power. As you said, everybody jubilated. The unexpected has happened. Gambia has made history, both the incumbent and the president-elect. And that's how we conceived it. We decided, after that, to have a liaison. And the incumbent created a liaison. He accepted that he was going to be an outgoing president and the president-elect will be the incoming president. And the liaison started working. They had an agenda to see what to tidy up, such as the release of prisoners, those who are in detention with that, to tidy up so that it will be a goodwill gesture as we move towards the inauguration. We also agreed that we'll form two teams, transition teams. The president-elect formed his team, wrote a letter to introduce the team to the incumbent. But on the day that the letter was to be handed, they said, an announcement is going to come. So wait for the announcement. And what was the announcement? I reject the elections. I've annulled it. We are going to have fresh elections under a new independent electoral commission. Those were the words. We, from the very beginning, told our electorate and everybody that the rule of law, good governance, human rights, respect for human rights, democracy, these were unnegotiable. We will consolidate it in this country. We believe that the Independent Electoral Commission is the only authority empowered by the Constitution to declare results and to declare winner. And that has happened. That's the language of the Constitution. If anybody wants to reject results, fine, you can form an opinion. But if you want to challenge it, you go to the courts. And you have 10 days to do that, to the Supreme Court. That was not the way he took. The road he took was to reject, annul, and declare that there will be fresh elections under another Independent Electoral Commission. That you should note. That is the route he took, and that is the source of the crisis. When that declaration was made, and a threat that he will not tolerate any demonstrations, the coalition met, reviewed the words, reviewed the letter, reviewed the spirit, and we saw that the spirit was no longer calling for peaceful transfer of power. It is calling for confrontation. And the coalition said that it is not interested in confrontation. It will not take part in confrontation. No demonstration will take place because the Constitution will prevail. The language of the Constitution says that the Independent Electoral Commission will declare the winner. But since election takes place within 3 months before the end of the term of office of the incumbent, we read the Constitution well, got our legal advice properly, and knew that the incumbent is still effectively the President of the Republic of the Gambia until his 5-year expires. And that is in January 2017. So the President-elect made a declaration that he is declared elected by the competent body. And according to the Constitution, which has no ambiguity, he is to assume office on the day that the term of office of the incumbent expires. That is the order and command of the Constitution. So he issued a statement indicating, having been elected, all my supporters should focus on the day that the Constitution says I should assume office. And don't quarrel. If you see the soldiers in the street, know that the incumbent is still the President of the Republic of the Gambia. The institutions are under his control. He can order soldiers to go and be deployed anywhere. See them, go about your business. That was the language of the President-elect issued. And we'll give you all the addresses, copies of the addresses that he has made so far before you leave. That was the language. And when he gave that address, and it was a very trying moment for the nation, for the coalition, he added that both he and the incumbent were born in 1965 when Gambia became independent. They are duty-bound to ensure a smooth transfer of power. And that he, in his own language, intends to invite him as the second president of the Republic, along with the first president, to his inauguration. So one cannot talk about inflammatory remarks here. It has never been part of the language of the President-elect. Not during the campaign period, not after the declaration of results, not after even the issue of unconstitutional statements. So in short, the address was tempered with maturity, reason, and constitutional authority. That was the position of the coalition. The next day, there was a reaction on TV, not from the incumbent, but from a source from his party, that they were going to court. Eventually, we heard that they have heard that's hearsay to us, because President-elect is not part of those who are served. So we don't know anything about their court case because we are not party to it, we are not served. It seemed like the whole case is about the anomalies caused by the Independent Electoral Commission, which fits more into corrupt electoral practices, and you take people to court for abuse of their authority. We don't know how that links to election petition. We don't know. We don't know anything about it. We should not be quoted in any manner about their petition. We don't know anything about it. Zero knowledge, apart from hearsay. So consequently, the ECOWAS came. And this is simply what they were told, that the Constitution of the Gambia